Everyone across the country and across the world, we are live here on YouTube. This is Wrestling with Comedy. I am your host, the real deal Joel Davis, former professional wrestler and also MMA fighter and motivational speaker, currently podcaster, promoter, and stand-up comedian. What an episode here tonight. It's episode 53. Before we get to this lovely guest that we have here coming in tonight, we have a quick announcement to make. On Wednesday, August the 19th, the real deal, Joel Davis, that'll be me, because I have to announce it because nobody else will. I'll be at Spanky's Comedy Showcase in Chopsticks Restaurante over at 21 Commercial Road in Leominster, Massachusetts. Thank you, Tank, for the opportunity on bringing me in. And I see our lovely guest smiling because she knows who we're speaking about. But tonight's show is all about this lady coming in from Worcester, Massachusetts. She's a comedian. She's a promoter. She's a producer. She's also an artist, ready to celebrate 8 years on stage in stand-up comedy. A big show coming up for her. This coming up real soon at the Comics Roadhouse, Thursday, August 20th. It's a 10 p.m. start. The portion of the proceeds go to autism and the AAC community. If you're in the area, come out and see her. She's celebrating. She wants you to celebrate with her that night. 8 years on stage, not easy to do. She's been with the Dr. B's Clean Comedy House coming up. She's going to be with them on September 12th in Waterbury, Connecticut. She's worked the Comedy Corner in Brockton, Massachusetts, back Friday, July the 24th. You've seen her also on the Soul Mic, the Shotgun Summer Series, Smoke Comedy Jam. She's through Massachusetts, she's through Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, and she's here tonight. Let's welcome Latasha Hughes. Welcome, Latasha.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Right on. We got the numbers going up right away here. Yeah, we got Let's Go Latasha from DJ Robbie Fresh to start it right up. Latasha.
Okay.
Yeah, Latasha, where were you born and where are you living right now?
I was born in Worcester, Massachusetts, and I reside there still, believe it or not. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're still back at home over there, and people, you must give me a break and forgive me, because the proper introduction for this comedian is she is your favorite neighborhood girl. And that's Latasha Hughes. Your favorite neighborhood girl is here tonight live on Wrestling with Comedy. We're here every Tuesday and every Thursday night live at 7 p.m. Eastern. And tonight is a big episode 52. Latasha, you're celebrating 8 years coming up, okay? We talked a little bit about it. The Comics Roadhouse, Thursday. It's a big show on August the 20th. Tell the people about that, and how do you feel coming into that big show on that big stage, a big stage out there in the state of Connecticut?
That stage always feels like home. From the first time I got on, again, years ago. And a lot of folks actually kind of look at me sideways, like, you're doing Comic Roadhouse, like, you know what I mean? You shouldn't be doing those type of shows, 8 years in. But as you can tell, I'm a mama with no drama, and I always do what I want. My path and my journey belongs to me. I do it because I can, and I joined in with Dr. B and with this Clean Comedy network, basically, just to make sure that Clean Comedy is supported in the way it should be, and that it has a professional platform. And again, what better place to bring it to than Club Comics, And I'm happy to be there with him and his beautiful wife, Portia, who are doing great things in the community. This is my second show with them doing Clean Comedy, but Dr. enough to do the very first show. And we supported domestic violence. So again, always giving back to the community, always using comedy for what it's for, right? It's a healing factor. It's an escape. It's a feel good, but it's also something that can really make an impact. So that's why I'm there. I love Club Comics. I'll stop going when I feel like it. And I'm just happy to be a part of Dr. B's movement with Clean Comedy. So
well, yeah,
that's that.
Well, that's really great statements right there. And I'll have to tell you, people out there, the Real Deal Joel Davis will tell you, I know for a fact, I go back to 2022 with Latasha. We did a show for John Parada back in the day in Rhode Island. That's when we first met. And we stayed in some kind of contact through social media. And then we reconnected back December the 11th. And I have actually the flyer right here and the poster. And here it is from this. Yeah, it's the 20 spot comedy showcase. It's framed up here, and your event host was this lady right here, Latasha Hughes, and she was nice enough to give me a spot on that show. It was out there in the International Bar and Lounge, Nabasco, in Worcester, Massachusetts. Your favorite neighborhood girls comedy, and here it is. That was when we got together again last December. And just so everybody knows, I want to just go on the record here and say live on the podcast, hundreds of people will watch this replayed, no doubt. I will say that Latasha is very, very active in the community, doing charity work all the time. She's always out and about. She loves live music. She does the R&B art festivities, and she does so much for autism and all these different, different charities. Back on this show here that we mentioned on December 11, I actually gave Latasha 12 of the Rocky Maivia WWE licensed their mugs, and I gave those to her, and she said, Joel, I know what I can do with these. And Latasha, I know you mentioned it. Did those go to a good cause? And tell us a little bit about what you do for the community, because I know you do a lot. You're not just the favorite neighborhood girl for nothing.
Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate the accolades. No, I did give those to a charity. I'm not exactly sure what they did, so I entrusted, and I'm going to follow up with you and see exactly how that went. It was kind of a beautiful but odd gift. I mean, we kind of talked about that. Like, how can you gift it up? Can you you can wrap it up and do whatever? But I gave it in trust, so I can follow up with how that went. I do a lot in community. Basically, my mom was like an undercover social worker. I generally believe that's kind of where I get it from. She was always adopting other people in the community, bringing them to doctor's appointments, bringing them to go get the groceries, that kind of thing. So I always saw her giving and just being a part of community in her own way, but in a way that was, again, makes impact, right? It doesn't have to be grandiose. It doesn't always have to be big. It's the little things, and it's the things that you do on the ground that make the most impact, I feel. I've done a lot with parenting. I think it was in Bureau's PEP program. I ended up doing that. It's almost like a civil course that parents can go through to kind of really learn how to navigate local and municipal government, which is very interesting and important at this time. We can't always control, who the president is or who the governor, the governor is the municipal that I'm talking about, like the federal component of things. But when you have a wheelhouse in terms of who your city councilors are, your school committee is, you know what I'm saying? All those like grassroots folks that really run your space and your area, you learn how to conduct meetings, how to tease through problems and make sure that you have good, solid strategies that make sense for problem solving and solution-based approaches, as opposed to, everybody can go up and kind of rant and rave. And we already know that there's an angst. So we don't need to kind of, continue to mold that over. We need to be a lot more focused and work together with the folks that we put in office. And at the end of the day, what you're really doing is you're holding them to the line, right? Because at some point they came up with a beautiful campaign, so all these juicy things they were going to do. So that's our job as adults in the community. Voting is fantastic, but it doesn't end there. Well, so I've done a lot with them in that. And then just other organizations that I've been a part of. For One Child is one of them. And I am going to golf for the first time, guys. I tried to pull up a team. It was last minute. The girl doesn't even have any clubs. Okay, so we were reaching. So I got in touch with Raquel, the CEO, Raquel Knight. And she plugged me into a team with some fantabulous girls. I mean, we're going to look good. I can't play. I'm going to look the part. But
that's half of it.
She's going to let me borrow clubs. But, stuff like that, and just plugging yourself in where it fits. I'm really big on being genuine and authentic in whatever it is that I'm doing and making sure that it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And you will often find me popping up at comedy shows. because I'm just as much a fan as I am a performer and promoter and all the things. So, and I believe in just, making sure that you do for others and you show up for others, because that's what keeps the art alive. That's what allows us to continue to do what we love. And, it's a guilty pleasure of mine as well. I actually enjoy it. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not always a labor, right? A labor.
Yeah, no, you're so active, Latasha. You really are. You're always doing something. It's always productive, and you have the good energy, and it's very authentic. Let me tell you right now, I don't bullshit. I keep it real 24/7, and you must know that. Anyways, and I'm just telling you the way it is. You got some comments here. You got someone saying, "What a beautiful lady." You got somebody else, the Marcus Hood Gospel, saying, "I'll see you there." Cameron Dewan from Los Angeles, California, saying, "Hey, Latasha." I got somebody else saying here, Dave Perdando. I guess this is to me. What's up, brother? But you know Dave. You know Dave. And so it's so great, and the podcast is such a great platform for everybody, especially in New England. Not only in New England, we have guests across the country and even across the world. Yeah, and this is really great for the comedians and whoever you might be, even professional wrestling or stand-up comedy or whatever you do. We've had people on the show of different guests that have battled addiction, drug addiction, and alcohol addiction, and comedy is a real way to have therapy. It really is. If you're just joining us, it's episode 53. Latasha Hughes is here. She's a comedian, a producer. She's also a promoter. She's an artist. She does a lot of charity work. She's not only your favorite neighborhood girl in comedy, she's also your favorite neighborhood girl in the world. She's doing all these good things. Latasha, let me just tell you, hey, you know me, I just keep it real. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about this. Dr. B's Clean Comedy House, September 12th, yes. Waterbury, Connecticut. Can you tell the people a little bit about that show?
Okay, let's bring it. Again, like I said, him and his wife, Portia, don't sleep on her. Always doing something in the vein of comedy, but in support of community, right? So this is a super special show. I love that he thought of me for this, because if you notice the flyer, there's a lot of couples on there, and then there's me. But it really is a cool way to kind of have couple therapy without having therapy.
Whoa! I gotta stop you there for a minute. Now, is this therapy or is this a comedy show or is it a combination?
Oh, let me finish, my brother. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is comics bantering about the ups, the downs, the hoopsies, and the fantabulousness of being in a relationship. And I encourage you all to stay, because dating is trash. We should, if you have someone, it's about doing the work, right? Yeah. Doing the work, but having a good time. It is not a therapy session. Nobody's going to start, pulling your insurance cards and, that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. So no insurance card needed. Okay.
Have a really great time. And they just thought, again, outside of the box with comedy and therapy, because that's what Dr. B does. On the side, he's also a pastor and all those wonderful things. He's laid with greatness, right? Just thought to do something different in support of relationships in the vein of comedy. Wow. And it's going to be laughter therapy, right? You're just going to laugh all the way right through the jokes and the testimony.
Well, it's a great way of going by things. I mean, it's definitely a unique concept, and I'm sure it's going to be very successful. Another comedy, Marcus Hood Gospel. She says, "LOL, laugh out loud." Yes. It's a great episode here tonight. Wrestling with Comedy. I'm your host, the Real Deal Joel Davis, and we have one of the best in the New England area. Latasha, let's rewind a bit. Let's talk about 8 years ago. 8 years ago when you started up. Where was it, and for who, and what was the date that you first got on stage in stand-up comedy?
Super crazy. So I went to it was on Pearl Street. It's called the Mansion, right?
Yeah.
And because I was green all around the edges, I didn't even know that this was like one of the high-end open mics that you actually have to schedule yourself. You couldn't just walk in and sign up. You walk and sign up. You have to schedule. And I used to go in and just watch folks, right? So let's talk about the beginning again. I used to go and just watch folks. And I got really comfortable. I was like, I could do that. Like, because people all my life told me I should be doing comedy, whatever. You're so funny, so funny. I was like, I'm not writing that stuff down. Like, I'm funny in the moment. Like, meet me in the living room, meet me at the kitchen table. Like, we'll ham it out. We'll have a really great time. And I'll just shovel on. But as I started to kind of immerse myself into the culture, just attending shows and kind of just seeing how things moved and worked on stage, I just felt like, yeah, I could do that. So I signed up. Nikki Luparelli was the host and promoter for that show, Nikki Luparelli, and I signed up for July, but I was in Alabama with my dad.
Okay.
And somehow I ended up missing the date or whatever. And once you miss the date, you have to get booked to the next show. So that's how I ended up in August.
August of what year?
August, yeah, hurt my soul.
Was that 2018?
Somebody like that. Yep, 18, 19, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And me and my afro hit the stage, and that was
I like that.
I got on, and I came alive. I felt alive, and I just never got off.
Oh, yeah.
The funniest thing is when I did get off the stage, she was just like, girl, you're a breath of fresh air.
Yep.
We need you. Like, just keep going. She gave me like a list of open mics in the city at the time.
Wow.
That I could go to. And I ended up going to Wild Willie's, scoring a free professional photo shoot because they had hired someone to come in and promote the event. And that was great. As a new comic, you know how important that is to your headshots.
Yeah.
So it was just a blessing. I feel like I've been blessed the
absolutely
entire time. The relationships that I've established in comedy are just amazing, and they're really authentic. Have there been some hiccups? Sure, but for the most part, I have nothing but great things to say about my comedy community, and I just look forward to what's in front of me.
Yeah, that's right. And you're always busy, like we mentioned, Latasha. You never stop. You're always productive every day, 24 hours a day. You know, and the promotion. Let's talk a little bit about it. This is the. I'm looking back at the flyer here, at this poster here. It's your favorite neighborhood girl comedy. And this is the 20-spot comedy showcase. How's that coming along? And how many years have you been running that? That's not easy to do.
Oh, wow. So, again, everything I've done has been a labor of love. So, my very first mic before the 20 spot was the Soul Mic Comedy Jam. And that came out when I think it was like I might have been doing comedy for like a year. And a lot of my other friends, again, like 2-3 years in, were doing really well, but we had no place to book our talent. You know what I mean? There was no place that was going to honor our talent and at least pay us something in respect for what we bring to a show or to whatever. And I just felt like like, what can I do about that? Again, problem solving. How can we fix this? What can we do? My good friend Julius Nemesco, who owns the club, International Bar and Grill Nemesco, saw that I was doing comedy and hit me up before I could even try and find a venue or whatever. But you see how the universe works?
Yeah, that's great.
And I told him, I warned him, I was like, brother, I appreciate you. And yes, I am doing comedy, but I just started. And I was like, it doesn't matter. I'll support you. We'll do this together. I think it's going to be a great thing. And that's what we did. And I ran that for like like a year and a half, almost 2 years. But see, the thing about producing, it's a whole nother animal. And it takes a lot out of you. And if you're not promoted or done production before, you wouldn't know what I mean. But it's really, it's like the business part of your business, right? You just want to run the business. Like, you know what I mean? So whatever it is that you're doing, if you're baking cakes, you just want to bake cakes. You don't want to file taxes. You don't want to go to business plan and strategy and marketing, right? And all that stuff. So that's kind of what producing and, promoting it is like. And I vowed when I started, once I do this, it has to sustain my inner artist. Once I feel like it's drowning my inner artist and it's taking over and it's killing my love for comedy, I have to separate. And so that's kind of what happened there. And again, the 20 spot, again, here I go. After COVID, a lot of our mics are gone. Our ability to do runs like 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, different spaces disappeared. And being at the level that I was, I just wanted to be able to run like all my material at a full length. You know what I mean? I know you can do 5 minutes at a time and kind of piece it or whatever, but you never really get to feel it until you get to, just kind of throw it out there. So I always call that the lab. And the 20 spot was an opportunity for seasoned comedians to do just that. Run your your material for the 20 minutes in front of a live audience. It's the lab. We'll give you feedback. I give everybody feedback in the end, and not one person that's done that mic didn't grow in some way or didn't learn something about themselves or the way that they performed or things that they were doing really well or things that they thought were bad but weren't. It was actually a superpower. If you go back and you polish that, it would be really great, kind of a thing. So my community thanked me a lot for that, just giving them that space because we didn't have it. And I'm looking to get it back going because I miss it as well. But I did feel like it could be run just a little bit differently, right? But that's always what happens when you do something for the first time. You find out what went really well and what kind of was just kind of like, So you were a part of my very last show. That was my last show, December the 20.
December 11. Yeah, that was your
11.
Oh wow, it was part of history.
Yeah, that was the last show because it was too cumbersome. My standing live audience that I was promising my comedians started to dwindle and die down. It just became increasingly difficult to make a reasonable amount of patrons be a little bit more consistent or whatever, participate in respect to the venue as well. Because Julius has been such an amazing support throughout my production. He's offered his space on more than one occasion, clearly, from the Soul Mic to the 20 spot. And I didn't want to disrespect the business component of things. You know what I mean? I need to be able to level that off. And that's another thing that comes with, production and promotion and all that. Be it an open mic or a live show, you really have to make sure that you're making good, not just with your audience, your artists, but also your venue, So we still have a great relationship. There's nothing, sour with it. I mean, my cousin and my friend ended up doing line dancing there. So it just went from one good time to another.
I'll pass on line dancing myself, but somebody likes it. Some cowboy and cowgirl likes that.
No, see, now you got jokes.
No, I'm just saying. But it's Latasha Hughes here, episode 53. Not lost for words. She says it the way it is, and she gained the experience as a promoter and producer. And don't be surprised if you see her come back in late 2026, back producing her own shows. But you're very active. Yeah, Latasha, you're very active on the scene with all these different comedy shows here and there, getting booked left and right. Let's talk a little about this real quick before we get to some of our segments. You worked back on July 24 at the Comedy Corner in Brockton, Massachusetts. That looked like that was a great show out there.
Oh, man, that was a lot of fun. And I don't know how to. Well, first of all, I was excited to go back and get my soul rolls because that's a soul food restaurant that we had in it, and those soul rolls are amazing. So it's all about the food, right? But no, it was a great show. It's a really nice room. It's really it definitely feels like a living room, really cozy. Kind of, it's big enough, but it's small. It's intimate enough to have a really great time. We ended up in the front. A lot of people don't like to sit in the front, but we had a whole family that sat in the front.
Awesome.
Mother, son, and like best friends. So we had like the young, like Gen X and these other guys. I don't know. It's not even millennials now. It's the other Gen Zs and all that. So we had a lot of fun with them, and they were just such a great audience to have sit in such a hot spot. They were celebrating birthdays. We were having a lot of fun. We were bantering back and forth, and it was great. I got to meet some new comedians as well. So my network, which is always important, right? Increased, and I just thank John Felder and the Comedy Corner for thinking of me and having me on.
Yeah, that's awesome. That really is. I mean, like I said, you've been all around Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New York, and in the state of Connecticut. You got that big show coming up at the casino on August the 20th. You're going to be celebrating 8 years on stage, and that we'll be able to drop the link there, Latasha, and we'll be able to get your social media up before we say goodnight. We got yeah, you know that. Come on. Now, we got about 10 minutes left to the podcast here tonight, and you have so much information. You bring so much good vibes and energy. The people are really sticking around. They love it. And we got someone else saying, there you go girl. And and as being a favorite neighborhood girl, just real quick before we get to the segments, because unfortunately we got about 9.5 minutes left, Latasha, can you explain quickly on how you became the favorite neighborhood girl? And how long have you been the favorite neighborhood girl? And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being sincere. I mean, that's a great slogan. I mean, you are. I mean.
So no, that's wow. I think I've been probably 7.5 of the 8 years.
Wow, that's great.
Comedy.
That's great.
It's just one of those things where as I started doing comedy, I didn't really think about like a stage name or anything like that. I was just on stage just trying to work things out and get things going. And they're like, oh, you gotta have a stage name. I was like, oh, okay, so Latasha Hughes. They're like, yeah, but what is that? Like, what? I was like, wait a minute. What would be a really great way to describe me?
That's right.
To just about any and everybody. Like, what is it about me that would separate, that's authentic, that would separate me from everybody else? And it's just like, no matter where I go and what space I'm in, there's something about me that I connect with other people in a way that's beyond, a first time, meeting. It's like we'll start talking like we've known each other forever. And it's just something that's always come with me. Even from a young kid, folks would like to kind of tell me their secrets for no reason. Tell me how their life is. It's just always. I have a very
you have a gift. You have
a personality.
You do. So, you do.
Yeah, and it's just like I'm your favorite neighborhood girl. And it's like, oh, that's kind of heavy. To say that you're not everybody's, but it's kind of like, but I am.
But you are.
So I'm your girl next door. I'm your, you know what I mean. I'm the coworker that always comes in with it. You know what I mean.
That's right.
So. That's how that came about.
That's right, Latasha. What a great answer. And it's stuck. It's such a great answer. And you're not the favorite neighborhood girl in Worcester, Massachusetts. Wherever you go, you are the favorite neighborhood girl. We got one more comment before we get to dealing the names. We got Marcis, the Hood Gospel. She's here. Numbers keep going up. People, thank you for joining us on Wrestling with Comedy. She says to Latasha, let's go. And yeah, we are going to dealing the names right now. We have a segment called Dealing the Names. I'll throw 5 names at you. One statement or one word, please, Latasha. The first name on your list tonight is Tony Hinchcliffe.
Tony Hinchcliffe? Oh, that's not fair. You know how many people I have on here?
You have 5 names on your list.
No, over 3,000 in my Facebook. Like, which one is it? You got me on Instagram. You got me on the tickety talks out here.
Tony Hinchcliffe, the podcast, the host.
That sound familiar, though.
Tony Hinchcliffe, he's a KillTony podcaster, the #1 podcast in the world.
Yeah. Get out of here. Hey.
That's how you say, okay. The #2 name is Timothy C. Brantley.
Now that's Dr. D. Hey, Dr. D.
Okay.
We're going to have a great show Thursday.
Very good.
Going to heat up the stage.
Good way of putting it, Latasha. What kind of energy we have here tonight. It's incredible. Episode 53, Wrestling with Comedy. Latasha Hughes has joined us live from Worcester, Massachusetts. We're dealing the names. The #3 name on your list is Lloyd Legacy Sharp.
That's my baby.
Okay,
that's a chocolate drop.
I love. You might be one of the best guests on Dealing the Names. I love your responses. And Dealing the Names, #4 of 5. You have 2 names left on your list here. Is Lucille Ball.
Say what now?
Lucille Ball.
Oh, that has to be one of the balls, like from Second Baptist, my church family. Amen, and thank you so much for connecting.
Lucille Ball was a great comedian back in the day.
I thought so, but I didn't want to be fresh. See, don't kill my vibe. I improvise. That's what comedians do.
Hey, remember, we are live, people. We are live. There's no edits here. That's what makes this podcast so authentic. Every Tuesday, every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. The last name on Dealing the Names, #5, is Lauren Sims.
Sims is part of my family, but I'm not going to lie.
Stand-up comedian.
See, black people have too many nicknames. I love you, boo.
That's what you'll say on that one? Beautiful.
Yeah.
We got one more segment on Wrestling with Comedy that we have with all our guests, Latasha. It's called Finish This Statement. I'll start the statement, and you finish it. It's just random. You have no idea what the statement is going to be. Quite frankly, I don't know what the statement's going to be. I make these up on the spot. And here we go. When I got into stand-up comedy, my goal was to
make it my full-time job.
All right, that's a good one. That's a good one. I said it before. I'll say it again. The guests here on Wrestling with Comedy are coming out with some of the very best of the finish this statement. We had one not too long ago come out with when I said, to make it in stand-up comedy, what should you do? And that comedian answered, be a slut, be a whore. I mean, that's what that was their answer. It's kind of funny. We don't mean to laugh, people, but we're just keeping it real.
They were wrong. If that,
Latasha, let's get your social media out there. You're such a sweet lady, and we want everyone to know where they can find you on social media and your upcoming shows. Go ahead. All you. Go ahead now.
Oh, wow. So, again, we got Clean Comedy this Thursday, the 20th, at Club Comics Roadhouse in Connecticut. Start times at 10 o'clock. It is a $100 show. I promise you guys, you will be home by 12. Come on out and support. The proceeds will be going, a portion of the proceeds will be going to support autism. I'm going to go ahead and have an ask that of my 8 years, I want 8 couples to come out. So double me down with a sweet love of 16, okay? Don't forget to let them know who you came to see.
Oh, that's right.
And of course, again, if you want a little couple therapy, you want something a little bit more grown and adult and intimate, meet us in Connecticut in September, okay?
Oh, wow, that's really great. And I just so you know, I'm watching the numbers here. The numbers are jumping and jumping and jumping. We got a lot of live viewers here. That just shows the popularity that you have, and that's a good thing to see when you work so hard at what you do, and you really do work at hard. You work very hard at stand-up comedy, not only being a producer and a promoter, but at your comedy and basically being on social media, bringing the material, and just making everybody feel welcome. We got about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, and I know you like to inspire people. Unfortunately, we're almost going to say goodnight, but there's people that are watching tonight, and there'll be people watching on the replay that would like to know, Latasha, what would you give for advice for someone that always wanted to be a stand-up comedian but never had it to be able to get on stage and try it? What would you give them for the advice?
My advice is to go. I think these folks have already gone to shows, because that's what I did. I just went to a show. I started to immerse myself in the culture. And that's what I want to say. Get to your local open mics. Look it up on Facebook, because you have a plethora of information on here. This Facebook, internet, and all the TikToks. You can find a local open mic and attend. And get on the stage, and I'm going to tell you just like Nike and tell you like Mike, just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
That's great advice. What an episode it's been. It's been episode 53. I am your host, the real deal Joel Davis, and such a pleasure to have this lovely lady here tonight, Latasha Hughes. She's a comedian, promoter, producer, and an artist. She's out of Worcester, Massachusetts born. She still resides in Worcester, Massachusetts, but she's your favorite neighborhood girl no matter where she goes. It doesn't just have to be Worcester, Massachusetts. She's celebrating a big celebration. That's 8 years on the stage coming up. It's the Comics Roadhouse out in Connecticut at the casino. It's Thirsty Thursday. It's August the 20th coming up at 10 p.m. I believe you can get tickets at the door, or you can buy tickets prior. And Latasha would love you to go down there and go out there and support all the comedians, including herself, in the big celebration. Portion proceeds go to autism and the AAC community. Latasha, thank you so much for being here on the show tonight.